In this video, we're going to look at formulas and functions in Excel in a bit more detail. If you've yet to watch the first video about this, you can go and do this now. I'll put the link in the description below. We'll be building more knowledge around what you can do with formulas and functions. We're going to be using the same dataset as last time, which is our list of pupils in the dataset called Pupils Dataset A. If you haven't already, you can download this from my website. If you go to empoweredanalysts.thinkific.com and go to courses, and you can click on this one called datasets. Now I've already enrolled. If you need to enroll, there'll be an enroll button here, but I'll resume my course. And then in the relevant section, it's in Pupils Datasets. There is currently a dataset called Pupils Dataset A, and you can download that. Now, because I've already started on this in the last video, we turned it into a table, so you'll need to do that first by selecting CTRL and L, and that will turn it into a table. And then we've added a count of our pupils, we've added averages for maths, reading and writing, and we also put in a freeze panes functionality just so that if we scroll down, we can still see the column names. So now I'd like to imagine that each test score that we've got, the maths, reading and writing, are all scored out of a different amount. So because of that, it means it's hard to compare how well each student's done in each test. So in this instance, the maths score is out of 100, the reading score is out of 60, and the writing score is out of 110. So to help us to be able to compare, I'd like to add a percentage for each of our students, so that we can assess better from that. So to do this, I'm going to scroll up to the top, and in column H we're going to enter the following. So we'll start with an equals, because we always have to start with an equals for our formula, and then we'll select, click on a field that we want, so we want maths in this case. And now to turn this into a percentage, we want to divide it by 100, so it's a / and then we're going to write out 100, and that will calculate that. I can now format this by selecting the columns, right clicking format cells and go to percentage, and it will give us our percentage in 2 decimal places. So that's given us our percentage. So now what we'll do is rename this column to maths percentage. Maths percentage, and that's that column done. So we're going to do the same thing for the subsequent columns for reading and writing, and for these to work out the percentage, they're out of a different amount. So reading is out of 60 and writing is out of 110. So we're going to go through the same process, but we'll change what the field is out of. So if we do equals the reading divided by 60, and then we'll do equals the writing out of 110. So to quickly format these, I'm going to hover on the maths column. I'm going to go to Home and Format Painter, and then I'm just going to copy that over here, and it automatically applies the same formatting to those columns. So the last thing I need to do now is rename those columns to reading percentage and writing percentage. What I'd like to do now is to identify the pupils who have got the lowest scores across all 3 categories in order to give them specialist support. And this is an example of how we can use data to create some kind of action. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some filters. I'm going to go to maths, and I'm going to go down to the number filters, and I want to see anything that is less than or equal to 50%. So let's have a look at that first. I'm going to click on OK. Now the thing I can notice straight away is that I've got some scores that are over 50, and the reason is because this is a percentage field, it needs to be done in the a specific way. So less than or equal to is technically the number that it's got underneath the surface is 0.5. Because we've formatted it as a percentage, it comes across as 50%, for example. So if we do that, that's giving us, that's correct now, that's giving us all the numbers that are less than or equal to 50%. So I'm going to apply the same filters to reading and writing, so less than or equal to 0.5, which is 50%. And again for writing, anything that is less than or equal to 0.5. And this is going to give me 2 pupils who have got scores under 50% for all 3 categories that I would like to target my efforts on first. So before you move on to any further videos, I'd like you to try this out yourself now, going through the same steps of downloading the dataset, changing the data into a table, adding these 3 new percentage columns of maths, reading and writing. And then when you've done that, put a filter on it to see anything less than a certain percentage. When you've done this, put done in the comments below. So let me know if you want to learn more about functions and formulas. Put it in the comments and then you can click on subscribe if you want to get notified of any new content.